Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Warsaw, Poland for the grand final. And a packed audience for our grand final as well. Two fantastic teams, one of which will be crowned the brand new world champion for World of Tanks over the next couple of hours. Let's introduce you to the two teams. Our first team are from China, a team who have shocked and surprised us throughout the tournament to become the first ever Chinese team to reach the grand final for World of Tanks. Please make some noise for EL Gaming! And their opponents are a team who have already been crowned champions in their respective region, but they want this more than anything else. They've already taken out the world champions. Can they now name themselves world champions? We'll find out. Please welcome Hellraisers! And before our game gets underway, let's find out from our expert panel led by the able and willing Joshua Gray.
Well, their desk might be with Joshua Gray, but ours is with me and Quickie Baby here on my right.
Big welcome back to all of you. We have finally got the game that you have all been waiting for on the cusp of your hands. Here we go. It is going to be the final between Elon Gaming and Hellraisers.
Hellraisers versus Elong, both very similar style. As we were talking about before the break, these two guys are almost identical.
Almost identical?
But their play styles are almost identical, at least their preferred styles. It seems like to defeat Navi, they needed to use Elong Gaming's style of being very aggressive.
Pure aggression.
When they played like Navi, they didn't work so well against Yateso.
But I feel like Hellraisers can play that more passive play style, let the enemies get into position, where then they outplay them. And that's what they did to Navi, really.
They have a lot more aces up their sleeve. You're right. They're totally more diverse when it comes to their strategies. You made the comment, the joke way before, 5 T54 lightweights and 2 LTTBs is exactly what we're going to see almost every game from Elong, assuming they play like they have played in every other round. Whereas Hellraisers bring different tanks, different styles every time, and they seem to adapt that little bit better.
So this is going to be a very important period for Hellraisers. The last few hours preparing their strategy. They didn't have to play their third and fourth place game that Navi just did, so they've had a while to put on their thinking caps and to create a strategy to hopefully overcome this thoroughly aggressive team.
Hopefully they're looking at the VODs earlier. I mean, Navi did defeat Elong 5-0 in the very first game that we casted together. And if they just watch that VOD and do what Navi did, well, then it's a sure thing, sure?
I think that Elong now have confidence. In that first game, it was their first game probably on such a big stage as this. Although I might be wrong about that. I do feel that this venue is just simply incredible. Simply it could have been just nerves. Maybe they went 5-0 against Navi because of nerves. Since then, they've come into their own. They've developed their very hyper-aggressive strategy. Maybe they're going to employ it against, well, currently, I guess, the best Russians in the world.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, you say about the crowd, they were backstage for their first game, but definitely nerves must still be feeling it. They can hear the crowd. They can see the smell of the crowd, definitely. Now, Navi were also the reigning champions. Still are until after this game. So there's probably that to it as well, where Hellraisers built up their entire plan for the entire tournament to defeat Navi, where Elong were just coming in to do as good as they can do. So you're right, it's probably a lot to do with nerves, where they're not scared of Hellraisers. They don't care who they are. They didn't know who they are probably very well. They were focused on Navi. Oh my god, they're the Giants. But who was everyone else? So should we take a quick look at what happened, the story so far, the brackets for today and exactly what's happened?
So far today we have seen an absolute amazing session of World of Tanks, probably the best games that I've ever seen in my life, collectively, of World of Tanks. We've seen School Bus get defeated by Kazna Crew, who in turn got defeated by EL Gaming 5-3, and we saw our favourites of the competition, and Na'Vi, who 70% of you, the audience, thought were the favourites against Hellraiser, get taken down. That was quite an upset, and so those are the two key teams that we're going to have in this tournament. Now we're going to see EL Gaming, the Red Eye introduced as the team from China, against the Russian giants, the Hellraisers. It's going to be a very, very, very exciting matchup. And I believe, unless I'm mistaken, this is going to be a best of 13. So it's going to be longer than the previous games. If Hellraisers go 5 games ahead, it's not necessarily going to be over. Then EL Gaming just have to win 7 of the next 8 games, you know? That could be it.
That can be a lot harder. One thing we did want to point out about that graphic is that Hellraiser did go 4 games up to the last very game against the other Chinese team. But the other thing to point out, they're not actually a Chinese team. They're Chinese men or China men. I'm not sure exactly what the exact term is for someone from China, but they play in the Asian server. This is like School Bus. They're not a Russian team. They're a European team. There are Ukrainian and Russian in players. I don't know how technical we have to be,
Well,
but
they've come from the APAC Asia region, as you've been
that's
telling
right.
me throughout.
But the China server is different to the APAC Asia server.
So they're Chinese players.
Yeah, Chinese players playing on the APAC Asia. So they're representing the whole of Asian region. It's like they're not only holding the flag of China, but they're holding the region of APAC Asia. So they cover Japan, Australia.
So
My geography is a bit different.
It's like what we said earlier. It's the East versus the Easter.
Yes, it is the East versus the Easter. That's the best way to put it. The East and the Southeast.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay, you're right there.
It's going to be quite a fight. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm sure that Twitch chat is going to go wild after every single kill. I'm going to go wild after every kill.
Absolutely.
Because this is what it's come to, the fact that every single kill is going to make the difference.
Every single gun knocked out of the game. This is really important. Looking at Elong's style, they constantly had 1 bit of HP left on like all their tanks throughout all their victories. It seemed like they were able to just dodge that focus fire and survive with those guns. So if Hellraisers can knock out those guns, then GG.
EL beat Kazna, right?
Yes.
5-3.
Yes.
Kazna won 3-1 on the first map, and then they went
all the way
on Cliff, I believe it was.
I wasn't casting, you were, sir, so
I think it was
your
me.
word for it.
I think it was Cliff, and they absolutely dominated Kazna. But it's just whether that same dominant playstyle, the hyper-aggression, the synergy is going to work, and quite a lot of why they ended up beating Kazna was because Kazna took M41 Walker Bulldogs. Those M41 Walker Bulldogs unloaded. Maybe they only penetrated half of their shells. If you only penetrate half your shells in a Walker Bulldog, that's 750 damage. You have no chance to reload again when you have the relentless aggression of Elon Gaming.
Yeah.
They just did not let those Walker Bulldogs reload. And then in many of the games, it became like T-54 lightweights versus the Walker Bulldogs. So really, if we're looking at it, how to try and deal with Walker Bulldogs, you got 2 ways. 1, you kill them before they unload. Or 2, you just ignore them, let them get on with their business, and then kill all the other tanks, and then kill them while they are reloading.
That's exactly what we saw whenever the teams of Walker Bulldogs were losing. Exactly what they did. They just ignored them, and then it was the final fight between usually lightweights and Bulldogs, and that's not a super balanced fight. Although Walker Bulldogs can, if they're penetrating, and that's the key, do quite a significant amount of damage to the lightweights.
And that's where we have to bring up the LTTB, because it's very obvious that Elon Gaming are going to use their Soviet light tank composition.
They love it, don't they?
For everyone who doesn't know, the LTTB, it's a funny old tank, really. A lot of people liken it to the old T-52, which is an infamous tank. It used to be the best scout in the game. The model of it's no longer in the game, and the LTTB is that tier 7. It's got raw speed. The thing that it lacks is gun depression, but Elon Gaming do not need the gun depression because they simply go ham. They go in. They just go in.
Yeah.
And they use those LTTBs as a meat shield with their punishing frontal armor and good ramming capabilities.
Because they're the weights. They have good armor, good weights, and for a light tank of tier 7, and they can do that interference. And they're big as well. They're not small little tanks, and they're quite fast. So kind of they can block that damage from the true damage dealers, the lightweights. And that's what they've been playing this entire tournament. And I guess it's going to keep up if they've got the confidence. Were they playing on the stage? I don't think they were. Were they playing on the stage, Elon?
I don't know for
Oh, on the
certain.
semis they were. On the semis they were.
Okay.
So this is their second time on the stage since
So they
day
played.
one.
They played semis versus earlier. I think it was one of the first games of the day against Kazna, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, is that correct?
Yeah, it was Kastner on the
Okay.
stage. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have had that kind of stage impact. They haven't shown their fright. They were very passionate after they won.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, basically.
That's it. I think there's not much more we can do for speculation because although we know what Elong is going to do, it's Hellraisers that can control the situation now. They have the choice, I feel.
What are they going to pick? That's the thing.
Yeah.
We posed that question to the audience before the break. How would you counter a Soviet light tank rush?
And the person that they want to hear from, really though, is you. And you guys take your notes. Take your notes and compare them now to the checklist. I'm gonna force you, Will, to make this decision. What would you take? Well, if you had an ideal situation, perfect tankers, you were in charge of Hellraisers, for example, what would you be like, I want to take these tanks. I think these would do well against this sort of lineup.
Don't listen to me, I'm just a pub star. I don't know this esports.
Just in your
All right,
opinion.
just my opinion, what would I do? Gosh, I think the ways to counter a light tank rush is either you need superior stopping power. Imagine you've got a whole horde of zombies running at you, just trying to go, I'm going to eat that guy, I'm going to eat that guy, I'm going to eat that guy. Yeah, what do you need? You need immediate stopping power. Or you outlast the zombies to be able to kill them. So the two ways of looking at it, I feel, are 5100s. 5100s have got hit points.
Yes, lots
They've
of
also
them.
got a little bit of frontal armor.
Yeah, we did see a couple of bounces earlier from the 5100s,
Their frontal
especially
armor
against the
is
lighter
surprising,
tanks.
especially-
The LTTBs would struggle.
So that means that they could probably put all of those shots out and yeah, with Elon going all in, basically, because that's what their strategy is. Now, remember, that what I'm talking about here is how to counter, like, their all-in strategy.
Yes.
And then they could go next level and do something again to counter the counter. So, yes. But I'm talking about the initial
Yeah,
counter.
we're just like-
We're just theory crafting here. So let's say 5100s, stopping power, and just try and do that 1800 damage before you die.
Yeah, and it's good. Well, the one problem with that, and the only thing I can think of is Elongs seems that when they come over, they're able to one-shot with their alpha any single lightweight who've only got 160 less HP than they...
They've got 1,250, the T-54 lightweights.
So it's 150. I thought it was... Yeah,
150. They got 1,400.
1,400, yeah, for the...
And then the other strategy would be to use heavy tanks.
Yes.
IS-3s.
It's just the mobility problem then comes in, where the 5100s don't have the mobility problem so much.
The main problem, in my opinion, just my opinion, this tournament for T-54 lightweights and why they've been so dominant is that they've been catching the heavy tanks by themselves. Now, when a heavy tank is overwhelmed, they get the flank of the heavy tank, and it's very, very, very tricky for them to deal with that situation. However, if you have more heavy tanks maybe working together, you know, you've got those IS-3s, you've got those T-32s, mixed in with 5100s, maybe like slightly further behind them, especially when you're defending, then you can overpower that just insane rush towards you, I believe. But what you wouldn't want to do is to go for a half measure. I feel against this aggression, if you kind of went, maybe we'll just take one 5100, we'll just take one T-32. I don't think that. I think you've got to build a composition around countering this light tank rush.
It's got to be absolute. It's like Elon Gaming's attack is absolute. You've got to do an absolute counter. And if you don't, if you go half measure, it's my catchphrase from before. A good plan done badly is much, much worse than a bad plan done well. So if you do half and half, regardless of how good your plan is, if you're half of you doing one thing and half of you are doing another, even theoretically, it's just going to go to disaster.
So what we might see next is Elon Gaming have obviously employed this tactic a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe teams have gone and tried to counter this. But then again, maybe they've thought of the counter for that. So maybe they won't go all in, and they'll slowly grind out their opponents at long range with those T-54s.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are taking a look at the team list here for Hellraisers. They are globally ranked third with 70% victories within their region and over their 91 battles played, and they're equally as good at attacking and defending. What do you think, Dorjan?
Well, exactly this, that they actually have a higher win rate than Navi did. Navi came into this with 33%, and they just defeated them, right? So Hellraisers have come through and did exactly what they came to do. They beat them online, and then they beat them offline. And that's the key. No one's like, you can't defeat Navi offline. That's the difference between a good team and an okay team. Well, Hellraisers has just done it offline, and that's the big difference. Here's these guys, if you didn't know their names, Black Reflection and all those guys here from Elon Gaming. Now, Nightmare, we've seen him mostly in the OTTBs, if I'm not mistaken. I can't quite remember. And Diodor is a solid player all around, often gets a bit like Elian and sometimes out of place, a bit too far forward, a bit too to the right, and we saw that Elian dash from Kasna Crew right to the middle. I don't know what he was thinking. He was obviously thinking something, and he got destroyed. He got punished for it. But if it worked, sometimes these crazy plans do work. He probably would have got a huge advantage. And I feel like that he's one of those players that might take a huge risk, which would pay off sometimes and not other times.
So here we're seeing EL Gaming's stat here. Elong, they are globally ranked 8th. Gosh, coming into it with 74% wins, 26% defeats. That's fairly similar to Hellraisers. This is almost a mirror, isn't it, when you think about it? But remember, guys, these statistics for their victories are all within their own region. How they performed, I believe, last season. They played 77 battles probably last season, or is this a total season?
This is the last season, yeah.
This is the last season. So
these should be the statistics that we've got from last season.
And they're the number 2 seed from the APAC region. Absolutely amazing. Have come second for the last 2 seasons in APAC. They're predominantly Chinese players.
And they've been around for a long time. They've actually competed in WCG but when that used to exist. 2013 they were there, 2012 they were there. These guys obviously not exactly the same lineup, but they've been around for a while as a group, at least a core. One thing we have to note is that they were second seed to Arete, who did beat them recently. Arete had a really tough group and didn't get out of it. They were actually on the first day.
They went for it.
But Arete were very good, far superior at dealing with Elong strategies because they've had to fight them so much. And this is why Hellraiser had an advantage against Navi, because they had to fight them online and fight them so much. They got experience. So we have this situation where we did see, as you pointed out, 5-0 Navi versus Elong. Might think, well, if Hellraiser can beat Navi, then this should be an easy fight. But they had more experience against Navi, where Elong has never fought Navi. That was the first time they've ever fought. So again, I think it's up in the air. So what map are we expecting to see?
So news just in, we are going to see Ruinberg.
Ruinberg. I'm not sure how they're going to perform on that map. I don't think I saw Elong on Ruinberg at all.
I still think the defensive team will win, but to be honest, attack and defend, I think we can throw that condition completely out the window, because I think that Elong aren't going to give the slightest monkeys if they're defending or attacking. They're simply going to go in, they're going to play aggressive, they are going to try and take out their opponents within the first couple of minutes of the battle, and if they try to do something else other than that, then fantastic for them. That shows that they're starting to play a little bit more intelligently.
But we've
not any
seen
better, but just more intelligently.
Varied, or we'll try and use the word, because I feel that their assaults are incredibly intelligent. Their assaults are well-timed, and they probe the enemies, and it's not just a reckless charge. But we have seen that when they started losing some games, was often, against Kasna, for example, it's often because they hesitated. Normally they have a set plan or a set idea in mind, and when they implemented it 100%, it worked. And when they went, maybe not, maybe, and they dropped the game. So that may be something they want to avoid. Maybe they do want to play exactly what they play. Yeah. Even though Hellraisers have prepared for it, doesn't mean they're going to succeed. That's another option. Playing your normal style surely would be stronger than trying to completely change it at the last second.
I think you and me were casting the first games on Moravanka, right? It was Na'Vi, and I believe it was Elon Gaming attacking them. They were assaulting on Moravanka, they charged straight over. I think that Na'Vi were using an artillery, weren't they?
They were in Moravanka, yes, it was an artillery unit.
And they still overcame them.
But you said that you thought it was 6 versus 7, that battle.
They would have won 6 versus 7 indeed. So here we go, guys. We are looking at the first map. This is of pivotal importance. We are going to see the first 4 games of this 13-match grand final on Ruinberg. Look at that trophy that they are competing for. Holy moly, you would like to take that home.
It's the monolith, that's what they call it.
The monolith.
The monolith. EL Gaming, China and APAC Asia's team representing, and Hellraisers from the CIS Ru region going toe-to-toe here at the Grand Finals 2015.
So take it away, guys. Let's see the 2 best World of Tanks teams in the world, at least today, squaring off for their first map, Ruinberg. We immediately see that EL Gaming are attacking. Oh my god, they've proven me wrong. They're not taking LTTBs. What is this? What are you doing? Elon Gaming, they're taking a 5100 along with 3 T54 lightweights. 2 AMX 3090s and a 12T.
Didn't see them play this map. That's why we've seen something different, maybe.
So basically on the other side for Hellraisers, we see them have an IS-3, a 5100, 4 T-54 lightweights, with Lucic in his T-54 as well. Not playing the LTTB that he elected to do on Clear, but with a T-37 as well.
Well, we are seeing a really good maneuver here, I think, from EL Gaming, is they're taking the north of the map. They're trying to make sure this IS-3 is isolated, and if they take him out, they're okay.
But they're going to take absolutely massive hits for doing so. We can see Reflection and Nice both reduced to a very nice taken out. Reflection also on very low health, and Black has lost his driver.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overplay. They really put all in to get Carmack, but if you look, there is almost no damage to anywhere else apart from Lucic. Hellraisers 6,397 to 4,357 for EL. It's
We've
pretty
seen
bad.
this before today. They just put that IS-3 there as if, come on, you've got to kill him. You've got to kill him. And then look how much health EL Gaming have sacrificed to be able to get
It's
that.
a bit of baiting, and they fell for it, I feel, and they might not be able to come back from it. They're 1,000 HP behind, although they were way worse before.
Fantastic play by the 23090s to counter that and take out the entirety of a tank in the city. What fantastic play there. They've put EL Gaming kind of back into the game, but they are still down by 1,300 hit points.
They actually managed to pull this back. I really feel that we kind of missed that when it actually happened. Good job picking it up, because I didn't notice at all. They really brought EL Gaming back into this. Only 1,000 difference now, but Nightmare is clipped. He is actually out of ammo, so it's not too big of a deal if they overextend to try and kill him. He goes down, but so long as they can pull some damage out of this, it might be okay for them.
Down to the T. Oh my word, Monty in a tier 6 light tank just pulls off a double kill on 2 tier 8 tanks. Fantastic play there by Monty, absolutely huge. Black is down, Fox is outnumbered. It looks like the Hounds are going to be all over Fox, and to take him out, can they sniff him out? They found him. Oh dear, it is looking like it is dark days for Fox. TS.
And the House of Cards go down. It all collapsed within a few seconds of each other as that T-37 comes in and cleans up and gets that double kill. Absolute pivotal moment. It was the decider. GG. 1-0 so far to Hellraisers.
Fantastic game. That IS-3 bait was fantastic. But EL, they showed they've got something different. They used those 1390s well to get that clean engage and to bring it back in. But unfortunately, it was too little. They just lost too much health trying to kill that IS-3. And then that 5100, fair enough, he put off his 6 shots. He was caught reloading. But then that T-37, I believe it was Monty, coming in and picking up those 2 kills on the tier 8. That's a medal right there. You get a medal for killing 2 medium tanks, which are 2 tiers higher than you in the random queue. Pin something on Monty right now. He deserves a treat after this.
Well, he just won a map for Hellraisers in the grand finals for World of Tanks. I think that's enough of a medal as it is, don't you think?
Well, yes, okay. It's given them the advantage, but this is very early days. Yeah, gosh, 13 games we will be seeing, if I'm not mistaken. Well, obviously, if somebody doesn't reach 7. But that is the first in my 5-0 prediction.
That was a 5-0 in a best of 13 prediction. Now, the crowd are very rally for both these teams here. I'm not sure where the favour lies, really. The crowd was just as loud for both teams.
I wonder if EL are going to fall back on a comfort pick here. Do you think they're going to go for those Soviet light tanks again?
I'm not sure. I think Ruinberg may be actually catching them off guard a little, because they haven't played at this tournament yet, and maybe it's not one of their strongest maps. In fact, the APAC Asia region had played less than half battles on maps like Ruinberg and Himmelsdorf than they did on open maps.
Wow.
They just don't like playing them.
Is that from banning?
But they ban and pick, and they always ban Himmelsdorf, Ruinberg, and all the closed maps. They prefer the open one for obvious reasons. So this was good, intelligent picking.
I think we saw Elon Gaming on Ruinberg for the first game against Navi. I think they went 4-0 up on Ruinberg.
Yeah?
I might be mistaken, but I think that happened.
If that happened, we can see why. But I don't remember seeing them with their 5100s and stuff. And
I think it was because
that was the case.
I think that was the first game where then Navi sent the people through the town to surround the cap and just made some outplays.
It feels like so long ago. There's been so many awesome battles. You cannot remember them all.
Exactly.
They've just been intense, very quick, very intense battles, and that was actually one of the longer ones. It was a bit drawn out, a couple of shifty movements, catching one guy out, catching another guy out, and then the final move by Monty to really give the edge, enough to Hellraisers so they can clean up.
chat are seriously getting behind Hellraisers right now. I know this will be on a delay, but chat are loving that first Hellraisers victory.
Russian bias confirmed. They always say the IS-3 is a little bit overpowered, but right now they're feeling Hellraisers are a little overpowered. Clearly the favorites.
I'd like to see how much damage he was able to put out. Probably only one shot, I'd say. He might have connected one as they were approaching.
Yeah.
But one, max 2, 3. But still, his value was in baiting. He became...
Yes.
Yeah, he was a masterful baiter there. He pushed them right out into position and slammed shots into the side with his teams.
Every time you see that tank who's side scraping or just in the open and he looks a little bit too easy to kill, he's either Tomato, a red player who doesn't know what he's doing, or it's a really nice bait. Sometimes I've done that. I've gone around the corner and just been caught completely off guard and explode and gone, well, I deserve that.
So how can they retaliate? I think you're right. I don't think they're going to fall back on the comfort pick on Ruinberg. We'll definitely see how they're going to have to get onto this. Gee, well, how do you think emotions would be? Like Elon Gaming, we didn't really see them phased. I didn't see them phased earlier against Kazna. You remember? I
feel they're a very solid unity team.
They just dealt with that 3-1. And then they came back and just went, well, we're going to go 5-3.
They have a really good resilience to morale. They feel like they can hold it together. Well, at least I feel they can hold it together. But we are going to see battle number 2. We have Elon Gaming trying it again on Ruinberg. They've gone this out. In fact, they're going really quickly into battle as Black takes some shots and they're trying to catch out Monty, but Monty is actually unspotted right now, being able to light up the entire team. What do you think of this rush?
Elon Gaming have dropped out one of their 1390s and now they're going back to more of their comfort, their T54 lightweights along with the T37. They're still having that 1390, but how are they going to use him? It looks like they're going to employ the 1390 perfectly to get this kill on the T54 lightweight that's on the north. Ooh. Fantastic play there. They used an auto-loader against the T54 lightweight. Fantastic stuff. But it looks like Hellraisers have got a very strong position. They've dominating out of it. They've taken out the gunner as well of T54 lightweight Fox. How can they deal with this? The 5100, is he reloading yet? Near you is going to take out Guan Ren in his T37. Right now, EL Gaming have a significant behind. They are behind right now as Lusik is chasing down Nice in his T54 lightweight. They're going to push out. They're going to push out. But can EL Gaming cap? They're going to have 2 people in the cap circle. We're going to have to see this IS-3 go back to be able to interrupt the cap. Can this T54 lightweight interrupt the IS-3? In fact, the IS-3 is going to ignore the cap and he's going to go after the T54 lightweight. He is undoubtedly going to win this engagement. Heavies dominating the lights here. Look at this, Kamek killing Black in the next couple of seconds. Good night, sweetheart. You are gone. Now, all it is up to do is the rest of the tanks on Hellraiser's team to get back and interrupt the cap circle. We've got 20 seconds left as Lusik. He's waiting. He's not an idiot. He's going to wait for his T54 lightweight to back him up. He's got low health. Near you, it's your time to shine. Go around, take the shots for me. I'm Lusik. Okay. So yes, he goes around the corner, takes the hits with the heavy tank. That allows the light tank to push around and to be able to put some pressure up. The 5100 is down. We see EL Gaming actually making a slight comeback here. They've now made it so that the IS-3 is redundant. We're seeing that those slow, lumbering heavy tanks can have no impact in the game if you're able to use the speed of your light tanks to be able to get away from your opponents. But the IS-3 is saying, hey, shut up, Quickie, baby, you're a noob. I'm here, I'm not that slow. I'm going to be able to get around the corner and lock them down with a T54 lightweight that is above.
But if that reload on the 1390 comes back into play and he's not focused down, they might be able to play, but Fox is in trouble. As Lowu is looking to finish that off. He's trying to get the angle, but he's using his dead teammates, well, actually it could have been one of his opponents, but a dead tank's Husk to protect himself. With the IS-3 goes for the shot, he's going to be able to get this. Yes, he can. Good night, sweet prince. And now Nice and Spring are up against the wall, but Spring has reloaded. If he lands his shots, he's missed 2 already. If he can land them, he might be able to do it. Oh, so much damage. He's lost his gun, his commander, and his gunner. What do you think?
Yeah. He's going to be very inaccurate for the rest of the game. Can Elon Gaming capitalize on this? Nice is going to have to land in his shots, but the thing is now is Lowo is hold down. All he has to do is to hit Nice once. That 1390 has 4 shots left. Kamek is also very low as well. Can't see exactly how much his hit points are now because they've gone to a different screen. It's very, very, very important.
Oh, he got it! He got it!
I did not know how high he rolled that. I would love to have seen how high that was, but now Lowo has to capitalize in his crippled T-54 lightweight. He's got 2 dead crew. He's got a broken gun. Look at his aiming circle. It is as big as a friggin' watermelon on his screen. How is he going to be able to handle this situation?
Ramming speed. What is RNG on that? Oh my God.
I have broken gunner. I have dead. I have broken gun and a dead gunner. It does not matter.
And a dead commander. And a dead commander.
Oh my word. No, do you know his loader? If his loader gets knocked out here, he's a one-shot.
Yeah. He's actually a possible one-shot. Because if all crew die, that's it. The tank's abandoned. And it doesn't matter how much HP.
This is a very unique situation here. Because if
I've never seen this.
If Lowo takes a hit here and his last crew member is knocked out,
because he's taking so much damage already. Look at it.
Doesn't matter how many hit points he has left. He will be out the game.
That's it.
Now remember here, Hellraisers is defending.
Yes.
We have 2 minutes and 25 seconds left on the game. That means that for all intents and purposes, this T-54 lightweight is going to have to kill this guy. I don't think he can't. He needs 120 seconds, right, to cap by himself.
Yeah, that's right.
2 minutes, so he has 10 seconds left to reach that 2 cap circle.
Can he do it? We haven't got the overview screen on right now, so we can't tell him he's not going for it. He's going to fight. Around.
If only he knew about how inaccurate Lowo will be, he would engage him at long range. What Lowo wants is to kite him. He's going to kite round the buildings. He's going to go, look, you're a one-shot. I need point-blank range to secure my kill. So you're going to have to come at me, bro. You have to get stuck in.
Absolutely. They've got to get point-blank range. If they don't get point-blank range, this will end poorly for them. They've got to make sure that he stays at range. But isn't there a talent where he would see how much damages they're on? Surely one of their guys have already seen this damage.
Good point, yes, because they have all of their crew skills. I think, is it Eagle Eye? But it doesn't matter now. He's got the ambush off.
He went for the ram kill, or was that just he poked backwards? He made sure it was a deliberate ram.
He did. I don't think he expected them to be there. I think he thought that he went and he kited out towards the west and run away from him, predicting what he was doing. That lovely engagement there. Gosh, am I wrong? What, did EL win that one?
I've no idea. Maybe it's just to keep the morale up.
Are they clapping to keep the morale up?
I think
Hellraisers won that one.
Yeah, because he had too much HP. There's no way. That round was definitely to kill off Elon Gaming. That was just to keep morale up. He was like, don't worry, we played great.
Yeah, okay, it was a morale. So there you go.
These guys are fantastic morale-wise.
They're confusing us. They're confusing us with their positive energy, Dorje.
Absolutely iron-willed. These guys from APAC Asia are just unfazed. Totally unfazed.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, because he had too much HP. The ram definitely hit the lower HP tank, which means that Elon definitely lost. Yeah, Hellraiser 2, there it is on the screen. Fantastic play. The reaction time there from the Hellraiser player was beautiful.
Broken gun, 3 dead crew. Doesn't matter. Just get yourself at point-blank range and get in the way of your opponent. It's all going to be over. I have to admit, I did feel that Nice was under a lot of pressure there at the end of that game.
The fact that he managed to do what he did under that much pressure was fantastic. But as you said earlier, if these guys carried a med pack, would you think they could maybe perform a little better?
Well, remember that this premium med pack not only heals your crew, it also it lowers the percentage chance that you are going to take crew damage. So
I think it gives like an invincibility shield as such, isn't it? Like there's a roll that says, is your crew member hit? And then there's another roll, is it going to wound? It's not like how big the shot is or anything like that. It's just yes or no.
Exactly.
And so it adds to that save roll.
But the question is what do you get rid of? Do you get rid of the repair pack? Do you get rid of the premium consumable? Do you get rid of the fire extinguisher? I don't think you can get rid of the fire extinguisher, because that means that you can effectively be a whole tank down from one bad bit of RNG from the first shot. So I think it's too much to give up the fire extinguisher. But then again, these guys have got crews that have fire extinguisher skills.
That's it. So it is a balance and it is a risk. And just last season, a lot of people were forgoing the fire extinguisher in favor of the med pack. So the meta or the general trend has totally gone the other way. So anyway, EO Gaming may be down 2 games, but they're not out of this yet. They have way more chances. So
remember that we were talking about the fact that was the defense on Ruinberg. We think the Ruinberg is maybe a little bit easier to defend on because it's a city map. And I believe the Hellraisers were defending there, right?
Yes, they were.
Now Elon Gaming have to attack, and that's when they're in their environment. What are the setups here? For Hellraisers, we have a 5100, we have 4 T-54 lightweights and a 1390. And Monty, again, a hero from a couple of games ago, is in his T-37. It looks like Hellraisers Elon Gaming are predicting this attack. They're in position, they're ready.
But Ruinberg was caught out early, and he is taken out, but he did spot them all. That might be his job, but there's no damage coming out from Elon Gaming. That this is a missed opportunity.
Let's see how the 1390s counter this T54 lightweight onslaught. Hellraisers need to dig in here. They can't get into an all-in engagement with 1390s. They have to corner poke, as we can see here. Kamek is trying to side scrape against these 1390s. What, the 5100? The 5100 is such a fantastic advantage to have in this close quarter situation with near you. Such a huge amount of damage can be put out.
5100s are fantastic at the skirmish range. They can't really miss their shots. They have lots of HP, but near you is getting focused out. I don't think he's actually got all his shots. If he's got 3 shots left, if he goes down, that might be the end of that advantage. But he's surviving at the back. It's going both ways. Both teams are very similar HP. But there we go.
Make the difference. Reflection is coming in from the side. He's going to probably kill the 5100 with his next shot. Even though he probably does he know he's reloading?
No,
Near you has got. Oh, what is this?
He knows he's reloading and he hasn't bothered, but look at Niyu's play. He rammed, he got in the way, he's heavier. The 5100 is maybe lightly armored, but it's super heavy. It got in the way very deliberately. However, it's still running out. The tanks are running out here for Elon.
Oh my word, Reflection makes a massive play there.
But it's too little too late.
Oh gosh. Close game at the end. 1,000 hit points remaining on Hellraisers. Hellraisers are now 3-0 up. Oh gosh.
It still was a lot better, but what went wrong, from my opinion, of Hellraisers, Elon against Hellraisers, they didn't finish off 2 tanks. There was did you see the lightweight right back in the town, where the edge of the cap zone was? He stayed alive the entire game, but right at the start, he lost a lot of HP. So there was a lot of alpha against him, but then his gun was still in the battle the rest of the time. So when Reflection came round, his rear was getting shot by this lightweight. If he was dead earlier, or if they finished off the 5100 before he blocked the teammates and got in the way, because they didn't want to shoot him. They knew he was on reload. They didn't want to have to waste a shell on him. Those 2 little mistakes from Elon just cost them the game.
Yes.
Tiny, tiny little details. Not mistakes, details.
And again, we seem to see Hellraisers just spreading out to try and counter this aggression. Taking a very strong defensive stance there. I thought that Elon were going to be able to defend really well there, but it ended up that they just fizzled out. But after the initial assault, Hellraisers then reconsolidated their position, as you rightly pointed out, with that T54 lightweight.
Yeah, they kept the advantage with that guy. He was the only guy in a really good position on the far side, able to dish out damage. If they lost him, that would have been a significant advantage. And I think that the pendulum was swinging. But then it just got stuck on one side, as Hellraisers just gained a tiny advantage and a tiny bit more, and near you in that 5100, surviving, getting all his shots off, and then using his body, really low HP, to just block. He knew that they knew.
And that's the best thing that you can do. You know, if you know, he knew at that point that he wasn't going to get to fire another shot in the game.
Yeah.
So he thought, all right, I can't shoot again. How can I give my team everything that I've got to try and win this game?
And what's the worst thing about light tanks is that they're light. And the thing about heavy tanks is that they're heavy. And so he just got in the way, doesn't matter about the armor so much, and he got rammed in the side, didn't lose that much damage, and the light tank was like, wait, what? Where's this guy here? And then he's like, I can't shoot him. If I shoot him, my teammate's going to die around the corner. And then Neo was like, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? You're going to get past me? You can't get past me. He's too big. So he had to kill him, or try to kill him. I think it was too little too late.
I think that even if that T54 lightweight that we had the pleasure of watching, the first-person mode at the end, it made a couple more extra plays. I don't think
Reflection.
it would have... Yes, Reflection. I'm not sure if it would have really mattered in the grand scale of things, because by the time that we came out of the first-person mode, we saw that Na'Vi was simply... Sorry, not Na'Vi.
They got Na'Vi in the brain.
What? I've got Na'Vi in my brain. I thought there must be Na'Vi, right?
Hellraisers. Has to be in the finals. Why would Hellraisers be here?
My apologies to all of Hellraisers. Yes, the Hellraisers had pretty much dominated.
They won all the smaller battles.
Yes.
The skirmishes going on. When the chaos lets loose, there's lots of little skirmishes that start. And the team that win most of the skirmishes win. And that's exactly what happened at the end there. Although we went to first-person view, we lost that overview. When it came back out of that, there was no one left on Elon.
I think Elon are going to go back to their comfort picks.
I feel that they just got to get off this map. I feel this is not one of their strong maps. As we pointed out, the statistics say that they avoid this map with a passion.
Can you give up half your points just to say, oh,
it's
I gotta get off this map?
Not quite half, because remember they have 3 maps to deal with this time instead of 2. So they're not down to the very, very end of the wire, losing a whole map. And they're not giving it up. They are trying. But I just feel like this is just their weakest map. And this must have been a good pick from Hellraisers. They knew this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have more city maps to come.
Comfort pick.
Oh, you called it. You called it hard.
So, Elon Gaming are going back to their winning formula from the previous rounds. All of you Chinese fans out there, give it up for Elon Gaming to go back to what they are best at, and that is their LTTBs.
It's
Here
like
we go.
We can't win this match. Let's just do
Hyper-aggressive.
it.
They don't care that they're defending. They're doing exactly what I thought they would do along the 0 line. They're going to use that position. Reflection is going in to try and find out what they're doing, and they're going to turn it into a massive onslaught here. Reflection is just the bait. Can they succeed with this T-54 lightweight rush? The Spear Panzer is coming in as well. Nightmare's crashing into his own
And
team.
he blows up. They got a kill. Nice. They do kill nice. There's 2 tanks down for Elon Gaming. 1 tank down. No, there's 2 tanks for Hellraisers. This is actually not completely one-sided, although the 5100s will run out of ammo and the 1390. Once that happens, it might be a swing back if they can survive, but it's too much. There's only 2 tanks left. I think it's too much damage.
The near you in his 5100 and the 1390 showing that autoloaders can simply just stop this absolutely crazy rush in. And look, I have to admit, I think Elon Gaming are they're gonna lose a lot of momentum after this game, Dorjan.
Let's hope they can keep their morale up. It was a map that they are not comfortable on. They got to keep their morale up. That's all it takes. We said they got iron wheels. Let's hope it stays and they can go to the next map, relax and ready. Otherwise, he's smiling. They know they're going to lose this map, I feel. I really feel like they just knew it. They're laughing about it like, guys, there's no way we're going to win that map. Let's laugh it off and just climb the ladder. They did it with Kazna. They can do it again.
So, do you know what our next map is going to be?
No. Prokhorovka.
So,
okay.
we are being told, news just in, our second map will be Prokhorovka.
Now, this is why I think Hellraisers lost the coin toss, because they get to pick the first map.
Okay.
The loser of the coin toss picks the first map, and the second map goes to the other person. I'm not sure if it's different in finals, but that would have was all the others. And this is not Hellraisers. Hellraisers picked the first map to get the advantage. But Elon are just planning for the second map.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hellraisers just dominated Na'vi on Prokhorovka.
Yes, but this is like the home map of Elon.
Yeah, good point, but I don't feel that Hellraisers are going to have a problem on this map.
Well, we're going to see soon.
I think they're the real deal. I think they're the all-round package. I think it's going to go 5-0, but come on, Elon Gaming, please prove me wrong.
We can draw this out, or we can have a 7-0 victory. It can go.
I don't want a
completely
7-0.
1-0.
Come on, Elon, let's do this. Let's get back into the game. I'm rooting for you. I want your aggressive play to work out, but you're going to have to do it.
What was the last vote for from the audience? How did they feel?
The straw poll. Oh gosh, I haven't got the straw poll from the current vote.
No.
One thing I have to
unfortunate.
say is that all-in engagement, and it is an all-in engagement.
Yes, it is.
It was really reckless.
It was, but as I think they just wanted to get Ruinberg out of the way. They just felt like they couldn't win. They tried tactically. They tried tactically 3 times, and they just gave up. As you said, they took the comfort pill,
agree.
and they just decided to YOLO.
However, they crashed into each other.
Did they?
They did. They crashed into each other, stopped both of their tanks dead, did a little bit of damage to each other. That doesn't really matter. But the more important thing is
Was it
they're
Black?
stationary.
Black's done this 4 or 5 times.
So if it was Black caused him and his teammate to be stationary and then just got absolutely annihilated by all of the guns on Hellraisers. Hellraisers picked a fantastic position as well to be able to have that all-in engagement because there were lots and lots of buildings around. So if they need to spread out, they can.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And if any of you at home saw who caused the collision, I would like to know for the main reason that Black's done this 3 or 4 times, and he's cost them games, or nearly cost them games, for this exact reason. So Prokhorovka's coming up. You say that Hellraiser's going to relax and be fine with this. We're going to find out very shortly. Elon are currently 4-0 down.
So I predict Elon Gaming are going to rush the center, come what may. They're just going to pile drive the center of this map. So quite a lot of the meta that we have seen surrounding that is the opposing team also does the same because they don't want to give that advantageous position up. But I think that what Hellraisers are going to do is they're going to think Elon Gaming is going to rush the middle, and instead they're going to pull back, they're going to let them come at them, and they're going to try and draw the game out.
And they go for 3 T32s.
Oh my gosh, Elon Gaming are just... at least they got the LTTBs, but 3 T32s. Remember that they are defending, so I think this is quite a sensible pick.
They're not going to rush. They're not going to be... But look, it looked like that Hellraisers predicted it would be an engagement in the middle, has copied their lineup,
exactly the same.
Exactly what they thought it would be.
Could this be them mentally messing with their opponents, saying, well, we're just going to pick your composition as well and use it against you?
I think it's a bit of disrespect here. It's a bit of, okay, we can beat you at your own game.
They haven't spotted them.
Good.
They haven't. Now they have. Now they know what they're doing, but the T-32s are caught out of position. They turn their turrets and their tracks, and now they make their way west. The T-32s have to get to that ridgeline.
Came at 50% HP. Did you see that?
They have to
big strike.
They have to protect their T-54 lightweights. What Elon Gaming cannot allow to happen now is Hellraisers to go all in on their light tanks and make the T-32s redundant. Those T-32s need to get into position, use those guns to start to apply pressure, and they look like they're using 90mm on their T-32s.
Of course they would against the light tanks. You don't want to mess up that one shot and ricochet on the turret and then have no shots for ages. But here we go, Nightmares. He's going to get focused out by Monty again. Is he going to get another kill? Yes, he will. That tier 6 is holding it together. 2 tanks down for Elon Gaming. The HP is dropping like a brick from the sky. Will it smash or will they be able to catch it as Kamer gets hit again, but he was a low HP very early on. He is out of the game. 3 guns left from EL Gaming.
Come on, T-32s, let's get back into this. Extend the series, please, Elon Gaming. Oh my word, Black is very low as well. Oh no. They are now 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3. He's got the side of the T-32. Oh no, this is such an awkward position for the T-32 as he piles round after round into him. Oh my word. Now Nice has a 1 versus 3 engagement. He is surrounded, and this is what happens when you're left alone in your heavy tanks against light tanks. You are out.
And that is it. 5-0 currently.
Dorjan, so much for using T-32s to counter the light tank rush.
Yeah, it really seems like it's an autoloader thing. If you land those shells, you've got to land those shells. It's an autoloader thing. It seemed to work beforehand on the last map. The autoloaders is what gave them the edge. But what you said could possibly work with the heavy tanks hasn't been working. So that theory is kind of disproved here. This is why most of the bigger teams aren't taking the heavy tanks but taking the autoloaders to counter this.
Okay, yes. Sorry, Dorjan, I missed that. I must apologize. I missed that, mate.
It's okay. You said earlier that it could be either the autoloaders that do it or the heavy tanks. I think we've proven with this execution that it is the autoloaders causing the victories.
Exactly.
So it's not the heavy tanks. We can throw that meta out the window. It's not working. The IS-3s often cause the loss, not helping. But the autoloaders, you were right on the button, right there. They seem to be destroying the T-54s, which is the bread and butter of most of these quick assault teams.
I think if Hellraisers had gone into the center, those T-32s could have used their gun depression. They could have locked them down and maybe started to whittle away their health, maybe even more, start to cause some serious damage. But the problem was the Hellraisers employed almost a perfect counter for what they did. They rushed along the west, the T-32s, maybe they had 1 or 2 shots in, but it wasn't the big impact that they needed to have. They didn't get that slow-paced engagement that the T-32 wants, where it can use its turret armor to be able to win. And what they did then is they went all in against the T-54 lightweights, then they went all in against the T-32s, and that was it. Yeah,
that's the trouble with heavy tanks in general, isn't it? They get isolated so easily. The battle shifts so quickly with the lightweights that they come in, they nibble at you, and they run away again. And if your lights chase after them, they're going to get decimated on their own, and then what's left gets cleaned up by everyone else. And that's unfortunate.
I think an intelligent pick would have been maybe 1390s with the T-32s here. They could have situated them at the back and provided that instant firepower that you need, and also the mobility to be able to put pressure up from distance.
Or they could just do what they've been doing to be successful and go for the mirror matchup and call Hellraisers on their game of going toe-to-toe with them with their preferred lineup.
I think you're right. Here comes the comfort pick. Come on, Elon Gaming. It's 5-0. I've had my fun. Now you're going to now take it away. All right, I can't be wrong now, Dorjan. 5-0. I'm happy.
You were right.
Now I want 7-5.
Right. You nailed that.
Now I want 7-5, please. 7-5.
7-5. Oh,
7-5.
wow. You're
Elon Gaming.
He was surprise. I think they're going to do it. Okay, Elon Gaming engaging in the middle. This is what we were waiting for. This was the Elon Gaming that everyone was waiting for. Doing the direct engagement. Black's the guy in first. All the turrets turn from Hellraiser to look at him, but it seems like the damage is going slightly in the favor of Elon Gaming, but it's the first gun to fall that normally is the giveaway. And Kamek goes down. Spring's at 3 HP. This is the advantage they normally get. Spring won't die, but he did die. This means that Hellraisers are trying to focus down, but 3 tanks are gone down for Hellraisers. Look at the advantage Elon was going. They're down 2 to 3 tanks each. So it looks like Elon Gaming might clean this up. There's 2 tanks left.
Ahead.
They're going to do it. They called them on it. They called them on it, and they said, Hellraisers, no, you can't do this better than us. We can do it best. This is our turf. Get off.
They
This is
only
us.
lost 3 tanks in that matchup. Fantastic.
That's what they needed to do.
7-5, the dream, boys. 7-5, the dream.
If you get that, then drinks are on me tonight, because that was one hell of a long ball shot. That was before the game started, saying like, oh, Hellraisers just dominated. That's not so bit of a risky day. But going say like, okay, it's going to be 5-0, then Elong are just going to come back and destroy.
Yep.
That is some ballsy predicting right there.
Well, the thing is now is I think Hellraisers are going to see that Elong are going to do this.
Yes.
And they're going to employ their counter pick of autoloaders again.
One thing I want to say, maybe, you know, we never saw Hellraisers do that, right? Pick that lineup. And I say that they were trying to like almost disrespect them, like, hey, we're better than you.
Yes.
We can do what you do better than you can.
Yep.
It's just been proven they can't. Do you think that shook them up a little bit? Like, hey, you're not better than us at what we do. There's something we are better than you at. That might instill a little bit of respect back to the Hellraisers, and they might need to start actually thinking, hey, we need to take these guys seriously.
I think we just found a very, very strong meta for this setup, really. Basically,
I like this.
It's a very strong
We need
meta.
to think of the counter. You say autoloaders.
5100s.
Hellraisers decide that is what to do. These guys are quick on their feet and they're good at adapting.
Because of the playstyle of these two teams, I have completely forgotten who is attacking and who is defending.
Elong were defending, now they're attacking.
Elong are attacking.
Now they are, I believe. They were defending twice.
5100s.
We're on the... It's 5-1, so 6 games. Yeah, so they should be on the offensive now.
2 5100s, 2 1390s, 2 T54 lightweights, and a T37.
Okay. You reckon that's what Hellraiser is going to go for?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I got to feel that Elong would be very silly right now, foolish even, if they don't go for that lineup again. They clearly are comfortable with it. They're clearly better than the Hellraisers at it, and it's up to the Hellraisers to break it. There's one thing I have to point out, they did lose that first game because they tried the weird tactic, which means on their preferred map, their home map, they did drop a map, which they definitely don't need to do. They need all 4 of these victories, so it will be 4-4 at the end of this double map.
Yeah, they can't afford to let it get to 7.
Ouch.
2 more wins and we're going to see the grand final champion.
Yeah, I just realised that.
Yep.
I forgot about it because they didn't play their actual tactic. I kind of ignored it and was like, oh yeah, well it wasn't them being them, but that was a foolish battle.
We can hear a sound that only a tanker will know. The countdown clock. Let's get it on, boys. The 7th game coming up.
I hear a lot of people actually disable that countdown clock. It really irritates some people. It's never bothered me.
I don't think it's going to bother these gentlemen. That's the last thing on their mind. Well, so much for the autoloaders, but Elong Gaming, I believe, have picked their comfort pick. They're going for the LTTBs with the T54 lightweights.
And
Hellraisers
are going for the 1-tier 8 advantage.
Hellraisers obviously think they're going to do the same thing. They want to have this all-in engagement to take the wind out of the sails of Elong Gaming. We are going to see probably an all engagement, but EL are actually, they're not rushing blindly across the middle. Maybe they're going to invest that LTTB to make them think that they're doing that, or maybe he's just vision. Oh wow, this is some kind of crazy meta.
No, Elong aren't just crazy rushes. I tried to say that earlier. They really aren't. It seems like they're just crazy rushes, but they are doing this based on serious data, serious practice. They don't just mindly do it. These guys are together as a reserve force, and once they know where to push this force, then they'll do a push. It's not mindless.
I mean, I might be too bold in saying this, but I do think now that their initial ambush and the opportunity for that crazy kind of gameplay is gone, I think Hellraisers are going to come out of this one on top. But let's not think about predictions right now, as Black and the T54 lightweights are rushing in. EL Gaming, here comes your attack.
Oh, Black goes down on the assault. They've been spotted too early. Too much damage coming out. You're right. They seem to be in a much weaker position as Nightmare goes down to within 1 shot, and he's out. That's the worst thing that can happen. Look at the full HPs there on Hellraisers. They're just not receiving the damage. Fox is isolated. Look at the pack. How scared would you be if that many scary dogs are yapping at you as you're trying to run around? This is disaster for EL.
Their focus fire is amazing. They're not letting that T54 lightweight escape. They've been focusing Nice. Nice is down. I think they're going to take Guaren out next. After they focused him down, then they're probably going to have to focus on the LTTB. Can they take him out? Oh, it's an all-in engagement. It's 2 versus 4. And I think that there's no coming back from this. They are outnumbering their health points by 8 times. And Spring goes down 6-1. Now they have to dodge 6 bullets.
7-5 is not going to happen. They have to dodge. Are they Neo?
They have to dodge a whole revolver. A whole revolver.
It's impossible, surely.
This is like playing roulette, but the whole gun is loaded.
Roulette, but with the whole gun.
Against some very scary dudes, basically, in Hellraisers.
Oh my god. This is... oh my word.
What this is the game that could crown Hellraisers as the new Grand Finals World Champions. Taking Na'Vi off the ground. Na'Vi, I hope you're sitting back there.
Yeah.
That's it. This is your last game as World Champions, guys.
It could
or maybe
be.
not.
Very could be.
It very could
This
be.
is the first match point of the Grand Finals 2015 with Na'Vi sitting on the sidelines, which means their title is lost the moment this game is decided. Whether it goes on for another map, as in Elong win this next battle coming up, or if Hellraisers take it and become the new champions, Na'Vi are soon to be knocked off the #1 spot for the first time in 4 years.
6 championship points, Dorjan. 6 championship points.
It's insane. I cannot believe.
What can be going through their mind right now on the cusp of winning a lot of money?
Right, so we have Hellraisers in the red. These guys have shown Mr. Quickie Baby, Mr. Will Farrell, I did say that earlier, friend Mr. Will Frampton, he is here predicting things like a champ, absolutely calling everything that's happening. Okay, the 7-5 thing was a little bit side tongue in cheek as he really wanted to give Elong something to hope for. But these guys ahead of you right now, hopes are a little bit in the gutter for winning, but they're happy to be here in second place. These guys did not imagine themselves coming as #2 seeds all the way up to being in the finals and not even facing Na'Vi. I mean, there's so much going on that these guys are happy about that it doesn't matter that they are currently down. And this is why if they've got any sort of hope of coming back, is that they're not dropping their morale at all. They're so happy to be here and they love playing the game. They know maybe that they are a bit outclassed, maybe, and that doesn't matter to them. They're like,
they're having
hey,
fun, Dorjan. They're smiling.
We're gonna try and take this on. We're gonna try and do our best. And hell, they took one game and it was a mirror matchup. They proved that they were better with the exact same tanks in the exact same situations. So that in itself. Are you looking for the prize pool?
I am
think
looking
you
for
are.
the prize pool, Dorjan.
I have no idea.
I want to know
it
how
is.
much these guys are about to win.
I think it's 150,000.
I think it might be, but I'm not sure if that's spread out amongst all of the teams or if they're literally paying for 150 grand.
I think it's 150 grand for #1.
That's
but
a lot of money,
I really
Dorjan.
don't know. It's not really the big focus of this tournament.
Do you think it's the prestige
it's
and
the
the
prestige.
monolith?
It's the monolith and the prestige. Wouldn't you want to be known as the best World of Tanks tank? I mean, you kind of are in EU.
No, don't start that. Don't start
He
that.
never said that. I said that, right?
Okay.
I said that.
So EL Gaming back to their comfort pick. T54 lightweights and LTTBs.
Yeah.
Hellraisers using exactly the same thing that they just used to counter this comfort pick. They feel that the best way to counter T54 lightweights is
More
T54 lightweights.
More T54 lightweights. They got one more because Reflection and Black prefer
EL
the
Gaming
LTTB.
are not holding back. This is it. This is the championship point. Black is taking some big hits going in. Hellraisers are holding back a little bit as they slam
But the
shell
focus
after
fire
shell
on Nightmare ends the gun advantage, or the even advantage that EL could have even possibly has as Reflection goes down and the shots fly everywhere. K-Mech is killed though.
Down 2,000 hit points. I feel that this is the end for Elon Gaming. You are about to see the new world champions, 2015's the Grand Finals winners, Hellraisers!
The first time in 4 years it's not a yellow team, it's not Na'Vi, it is about to be in the next Shell Hellraisers 2015, your World of Tanks global champion.
I don't think they can quite believe it, Dorjan. I don't think they can believe it.
We did it.
They did it together. They're embracing hugs. That's what it's all about. Oh my word, they must be absolutely thrilled.
They did it. They came here from Russia as the #2 seed.
They
And
outplayed everyone.
Climbed the ladder. They outdid expectations of themselves and proved themselves to be currently the #1 in the world, at least today. But today is what really matters, as these guys are going to be taking the center spot of the stage any moment now.
Fantastic, absolutely insane play there by Hellraisers. Congratulations to all of the players on a fantastic achievement here.
Second place is not bad, is it? Really? Wow. Elon Gaming. Fantastic. Expectation breaking, don't you think?
Elon Gaming when people came in here, if I might be so bold, people probably didn't really know about them.
No.
Leaving this competition, they're going to know about them.
Yeah, APAC Asia, number 2 in the world. There's no EU cluster in sight. APAC Asia, number 2. No one would have bet that if you just said clusters. And they were like, yeah, CIS has got to be like really high. And EU's probably second, yeah? No. But there you go.
Absolutely dug in. Look at these guys celebrate.
I'm going to just let the audience at home feel this moment. That monolith is not light. Look how many people are carrying this. It's a solid piece of metal, absolutely solid.
He's like, guys, help me out here, please. He's holding onto it with every finger. Oh!
They're going white. It is really heavy. There's a creation video with it being made. It is a solid block of metal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best World of Tanks team in the world.
Every single one of these guys, maybe not individually, but collectively, are the best in the world right now.
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What is going through your mind right now? Just how wonderful is this?
That we are the world champion! What else can be in my mind?
We do have one more award to make whilst we're also crowning the world champions. We also have to award the Intel Alienware MVP Award, which by coincidence is also a Hellraisers player. Please welcome Lusik!
What?
Okay, Lusik, you are the Intel Alienware MVP for the whole tournament. Voted for and by the experts. You win an Intel i7 CPU and an Alienware Area 51 gaming system, which will blow you away, I promise you. It's backstage right now. In fact, we might even have it on stage, and you can take that home as well. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Hellraisers!
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have crowned a...
So, those are your champions. Wow, I didn't realize about the MVP award.
Yeah, what an absolute achievement there. Gosh, look at that. Is that the computer?
That is the computer, I think he said.
Looks like
it's an alien spaceship, maybe?
An alien spaceship bound to take off, take him to a whole new level of World of Tanks godliness.
He can now play a max setting. We all know that the pro players play a minimum settings, right? But now he can play a max if he wants to.
What
But
a fantastic final we just saw. 6-1, 7-1.
7-1.
Would have been a little nicer to see it be a little close. I do feel that they just came out the blocks running, really, took the early lead, and I think that realistically there was no real comeback there for Elon Gaming. They gave it a go when they started to go back to their comfort pick, but just didn't quite work out for them.
There was a hard counter, wasn't it? They're like, okay, you want to use these OTTBs, but we still think that 6 tier 8 is better than 5 and 2 7s, and I think they kind of proved it right. In the direct conversation, at least, in that one situation that they kept having, toe-to-toe, every time the extra tier 8 proved just that much more worthwhile.
I think also the synergy that we saw of Hellraisers and also their individual skill made it so that they were able to totally outplay that.
Well, we did see that one situation where they had a mirror matchup. It did go to Elon.
That's true.
So they must have been super close in teamwork and focus fire and individual skill. It must have been really close.
What I'm saying is that basically this tactic they've employed was working against a lot of other teams.
Yes.
And it didn't work against Hellraisers, which I feel are the best team in the tournament.
Well,
and,
clearly.
Rushing people can sometimes catch them off guard.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't think any other team took 6 T-54 lightweights against them. They didn't try that out. Just like, okay, we'll just take one extra of the tanks you seem to love and make sure the T-37 just supports us, and that's it. No one else did that, so maybe that's all it really took, is that extra gun. They did excellently focus fire, but as you said, even if they were, let's say they're evenly matched skill-wise, whether that's debatable is another story.
I think Hellraisers would have won.
Let's say, well, Hellraisers lost that one mirror matchup. So I just keep saying
one
Macedor. So
1 out of 6.
But it was the only one they had the exact same lineups.
Okay.
Hellraisers outpicked them. This is what I'm trying to say. Their strategy was better. They're more adaptable. They were able to play in more maps, more situations, and able to outthink them.
But they picked their setup, their comfort pick against the T-32s. And outdid them there, really.
Well, that's true, but that means that they picked the wrong setup again.
But we've seen lots of teams in the tournament take 6 T-54 lightweights, and they haven't been able to have the same success that Elon Gaming were.
True.
I just feel that really Hellraisers were the best team that we had here today.
Right, so that seems to be the end of today. Warsaw, Poland has been the most fantastic place to have been over the last few days. Everyone who came, thank you. Everyone at home, thank you especially. Thank you to Jingles, who's not with us right now, and especially thank you, Cricky Baby, for being here.
Thank you very much, Dorjan.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you. You've been a star shining bright, and I hope you enjoyed this event.
I definitely enjoyed the event, but I would not even begin to describe myself like that. It has been my absolute pleasure. I was honored to be a guest here. Thank you so much. And for all of you guys out there, my personal Epic community who have been here, thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this event. I specifically haven't really been interested in the esports side of things until this new format, and I think that you guys will agree with me. It's very exciting, and I think it's something that we can all look forward to growing in the future.
Forget everything you thought in the past. The new patch coming out very soon is going to have an internal league. You can actually test yourself with your friends over and over again if you actually are as good as these guys or not. And maybe we'll see you next year here on the stage. Thank you, everyone, all over the world. Good night.